Now, the Scottish Government's considering allowing 16-year-olds to stand in elections. I'm not expecting it to happen anytime soon, but it could go out to consultation later this year. Ruth, shouldn't 16-year-olds be concentrating more on their Nat 5s and their hires?
Well, the thing is, I mean, there's a basic logic in play here, Colin, because you know, the Scottish Government, as currently constituted, is allowing 16 and 17-year-olds to vote. And so it doesn't seem to me terribly illogical to take that one step further. Having said that, you know, I think we shouldn't get obsessed by age at either end of the spectrum. I mean, if you look over at America just now, you've got a very elderly president. And you know, the Speaker of the House is 82. Joe Biden's going to be 82 at the end of his term. If Donald Trump stands again, God forbid, if Donald Trump stands again, he's going to be 78 by the time he's standing. I mean, it's really weird how they go in America for the chronologically gifted in that way. So, you know, I have no problem about an injection of younger blood. Speaking as a chronologically gifted person myself, you know, there's no way around the fact that when you get older, cognitively, it's more difficult to get the retrieval system working swiftly enough. And so I don't like the idea of people being in charge of a nuclear button age 78 or 82. Conversely, I think when we had the referendum, Peter will forgive me for saying this, I hope, when we had the referendum in 2014, one of the most engaging debates was when a whole raft of young people in their teens, all took part in a debate, and they were all terribly well informed. I was so impressed with them. Whereas we all know, do we not, lots of people in their 50s and 60s who are a bit thick about politics, frankly.
Peter, you were just 36 when you got elected to the Commons. Does it feel like a while ago?
It does feel like a while ago. Thank you, Colin. That's can you say so?
You were a youngster in the Commons in those days.
Well, at that time, I did feel relatively young, I have to say. I agree with most of what was said until she got into Scottish independence referendum. She lost me at that point. But I think on the generality, there is a logic. I mean, if you can cast your ballot at 16, then you should be able to seek the support of others at 16. Having said that, don't ask me to vote for someone who's 16, because I do think you need a greater breadth of experience. You need to have experienced life, its ups and downs, and that's why I think, you know, this trend towards ever younger politicians, maybe it's something to do with getting old. You know, politicians get younger and younger all the time, and I just think, for my taste, I want to see someone who's been round the block, has experienced the ups and downs, and is able to put that to the best endeavours in the support of the electorate. I don't think a 16-year-old genuinely can do that. So yes, let's have them standing. Just don't expect me to vote for them.
But Rachel, you and I see politicians up close every day. Would you want to inflict the level of scrutiny that they get on a 16-year-old?
That would be one of my biggest questions around this. What support would there be for people who are potentially coming straight from school? This would be their first experience of work. And, you know, I've spoken to politicians who are in their 20s or 30s or 40s who feel that they don't have enough support as it is already. You know, you talk about scrutiny, social media, the abuse that people get. We've had a number of female MSPs and MPs talk about how they, you know, the abuse that they get online and how they're worried that that might put people off coming into politics. And that would be my big fear here is, you know, could young people, and I'm sure that there are some people who are younger and would be completely devoted to this and would love the opportunity to be a politician and would love that opportunity and it would be good for them. But my biggest question would be, can the parties, can the parliament ensure that support if you're going to have young people talking? Because personally, as someone who, you know, I'm not 16 or 17 anymore, but I just can't even think of putting myself forward for something like that at my age. You know, I just don't even, you know, as someone who is a bit younger, but I'm still not that young.
A bit younger than us.
Feels, I'm not going to go further, but, you know, it just feels like something that I have a lot of questions about whether that would be something that you'd want to do. And if it was going to happen, I'd want to make sure that the parties in the parliament all do have additional layers of support for younger people.
Now that you've offended the elderly members of our panel, I think we should move on.